All right, welcome to Working and Playing with Apps in Health and Phys Ed. Today we're going to cover how to create a virtual Bitmoji classroom and more. These are links that you can use. I will give you a copy of the presentation. Oh man, clicked the wrong button already. I already messed up. Oh well. Just in case you want to follow along separately, you can. Oh, here we go. Share. So this is the link. I thought I had it already pasted, but that link, if you want to follow on your own or follow ahead, I totally encourage it. If this is too easy for you, I definitely recommend working ahead and trying some other apps out. But today we're predominantly going to cover Google Slides and how to use Bitmoji to make your Google Slides interactive and how to turn those into like a Google Classroom to allow for easier access for kids. Just make sure you're ready. If you need a drink, go get it, blanket, whatever helps you stay focused. We just came back from lunch. If you have any questions, use the raise hand function. You can use the chat box, or if you have a question, you can use the slides.app.goo.gl/EEEEXY. And then the code for Pear Deck, which if you want to do the interactive version, this is the code. So we're going to use Pear Deck throughout the presentation to give you an example of how you can incorporate formative assessments, SEL activities for check-ins, check-outs, check for understandings in a presentation format that also keeps it kind of anonymous so that students don't necessarily feel like they're being called out or like have full attention. So I'll give you about 1 minute if you want to join us on Pear Deck's extension. That's where most of the presentation is going to come from. I will go back between the tabs. So I'd recommend separating the tabs so that your Pear Deck is on one side and then the original Google slide is on another. So I'll just give about 30 more seconds. And then once again, this is just a way for you to interact as a way or a tool that you can use if you choose to do so. And I'm going to, oh wait, she already copied it in there. Nice. So that code or the link, you can join in at any moment. I'm just going to start the class if you choose to do so. All right. So we already went over that. If your camera is off, it'd be great if it was on just because it's easier to interact with people seeing their faces. If it's something that causes issues with your internet to stay connected, it's fine having it off because I know it draws extra power. Whatever you're comfortable with, I'm fine with. You can mute yourself. That'd be great. I'm going to mute everybody before we begin, but I think everybody's already following that. Thank you so much. Showcase respect. Just standard. We're all adults. All right. First one is a stress check. So this is like a quick little check-in to see where your class is at. So what they would do originally, they would see like a bar starting in the middle. They're going to click and drag it to the position that they find meets where they're at. So obviously 0 green, you're feeling good. 10, very stressed out. So it's just a quick way for students to anonymously check in so that you can kind of figure it out. There are options if you save it properly, which I didn't last time. You can go back and see which students actually recorded the answer so you can get a more specific understanding of what happened. So we got 7 out of 15 people responded so far. This is what it looks like from presentation mode. So you could actually show this to the class if you wanted. You should be able to see the bars. And whenever you're done, you're going to click lock screen. So if I said, all right, you have 5 seconds left to put a response in. I got 9 out of 16. I'm looking for 16 out of 16. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And then at that point, I would remind them like, hey, we're the top timer's done. I'm going to lock the screen. So your answer is your answer. And we're going to continue. Then from there, you could ask questions about like how people are feeling. Be like, why do you think somebody might be feeling like they can't manage their emotions right now? That could be like a good guiding question to have students think about their feelings and what's going on, or even open up a more honest conversation in a more anonymous way so people aren't revealing what's actually going on. Which brings me to the main point of everything that I'm trying to do with this, which ironically will be a ton of information, so I do apologize. So this quote I found very profound on the great Twitter. The easiest mistake to make during remote instruction is overusing tech tools. The more tools, the more clicks, the more confusion, not just for students, but for parents, teachers, and admin. Keep it lean, use a few tools well, and stay consistent. So the reason why I'm presenting the idea of Bitmoji is it's basically a web page version instead of having a long format Google slide where students kind of have more choice and it's going to help them kind of be more engaged. Also for younger students, it might just be easier, or students that have difficulties reading where it's basically like click an object. And let's be honest, we've all received probably 80 emails in the last 24, 48 hours with paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of information. The reality is most of us processed maybe 5% of all those words. So the reality is just keep it short, keep it sweet, make it something that's interactive and that we can engage with. This is just an example of how you can use some Bitmojis real quick. This one, I just took a picture of my front living room where I spend a lot of time. Those are my dogs. We have Sage, who will probably be barking at one point because she tells me everything that's going on the block, even if it's 5 blocks away. Branch will probably be whining because he didn't go on a walk today, so he's really pissed off at me. So that'll probably be an issue at one point, so I apologize. Music, I like playing pool, I like fishing, I like hunting. I host a podcast called Rapping PE that covers the topic areas of precarity, pedagogy, and physical education. And I love to read. This is my contact information. I'll show this again at the end. These are my Twitter handles. Twitter is amazing. It's great for PLCs or personal learning communities or professional learning communities. This is my cell phone number. If you need to reach out, have any questions, concerns, or
here's what I found.
Whatever, you can reach out. That's my email. Sweet. Social media. Andrew's here today. He's the president of Philly Aford. We want to get more engagement, so I will be attaching a contact form later. We want to expand it, so we're always looking for new ideas and new people as well.
Thanks for the shout out.
You got it. And I'm repping it. So today, we're going to break it down into 3 steps. What we're doing, we're going to create a Bitmoji classroom. We're going to check some resources to resource build, specifically Chromebooks, healthpe.org, Twitter, and I have a plethora of links and things for you to check out. If this is all too boring to you and you're one of those advanced tech gurus, I definitely recommend checking out Glide app. So you can do Google Glide app. I'm going to show you that app in a second. That is a great way to kind of create your own app for your school and personalizing it. Why we're doing it, phys ed teachers, health and phys ed teachers, we adapt for success at all times. That's just what we do. We're thrown into ridiculous circumstances 9 times out of 10, or we have to make adjustments on the fly. So this is just another way for us to adapt and be successful. I predominantly am thinking of it developing asynchronous learning opportunities to create choice, increase play, and enjoyment through technology. So my main goal for anything I produce, I want to have lessons that aren't us just being on the screen with each other the entire time. I want them going out and doing something. I don't want them just sitting in front of the computer doing an exercise. I would definitely recommend checking out like Flipgrid and all those other apps that you can incorporate into Google Classroom. It's just kind of like whatever works for you. But today I'm going to focus just on Bitmoji because you can link everything through Bitmoji. How we're doing it, we're using Google Slides to put Bitmojis and interactive links into Google Slides to then turn into your own little classroom that can turn into like a web page. This is just a quick example. This took me 5 minutes. I'm very tech savvy for the most part, so this only took a couple searches for background clip art. This is a picture from the gym, and then I took a piece of clip art and then added text to it. This is the Glide app. This is mine that I use for the school. I use this as a way to give students choice without overloading their Google Classroom. And it was also a way because some people didn't have access to a computer. It was a way for them to use their phone more efficiently. So you can actually copy this app and then design whatever you want. There are others out there that are definitely better than mine. You can actually link it to the school phone, or sorry, you can link it to school email so that students can actually log in and showcase that they're using the app and doing different activities. So this is just an example of mine. My homepage just updates. I haven't updated it since the end of school, which was the virtual field day that I borrowed from OpenPE. You can add assignments from Google Classroom that directly connect to Google Classroom. This one's to Open's field day. This page is blank right now. That'll get updated. The physical activity sheets, I just had, I don't know, like 20 to 40, and I would rotate them in and change them. So I would find different worksheets on the internet, create some, throw them in there, like wellness bingo, spell your names, coin flip workouts, dice exercises, and then videos. Videos can play in the app. So if it's on a phone, it makes it easier. You don't have to go back and forth. So if you click it, it'll actually play in here, and it avoids the commercial. So you don't have to worry about commercials. This is a great way to skip the commercials so that they're not watching commercials. They're doing work. Field day, I created a page for each activity, like the water bottle trap, little video of that.
I'm Open National Trainer Crystal Williams. And today
Crystal Williams is great. You should follow her on Twitter. She's fantastic. But that's how that app works. Anybody have any questions on that yet so far? Nope. All right, this is my Google Classroom's Bitmoji classroom that I made last week. It took me half hour, 40 minutes. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a moment. But basically, this is a good way for me to start a lesson. It could be a unit. It could be whatever way you want to do it. My main focus that I want the kids to kind of focus on, the what, the why, and the how. So like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And how we're going to do it. So I broke it down into, I don't know, this might be a little bit more advanced than like second grade, but we would basically start class with what we're doing. We're going to practice different yoga routines. Why we're doing it, we're going to build flexible and strong muscles. And then how we're going to do it, you're going to watch your own videos and improve your workout. And then the teacher can kind of give feedback. Some things that you can do before they go out on their own. You could do different yoga pose challenges and then have them perform it, and you can give them feedback right then and there, and then they get to go choose the different activities. Like these are links. You should be able to click these links open. One caution that I will throw out there, yoga, depending on the school, the student, and their situation, they might not react the best to yoga. This is just me doing this. This isn't me actually like teaching specifically in the school. This is just like an activity idea, something to give you an idea. Because some people will relate yoga practice towards religious practices and different types of spirituality, and that might actually cause conflict within the school. So you should know the social context in your school and make the better choice, or make the best choice for your kids. So if you click any one of these links, we'll do yoga with Stezzy.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10.
So it opens up to YouTube.
Okay, class,
Which is
let's
great.
begin.
Let's get the ads. I mean, it's like
and
a
doing a
40-minute
ruffly
video.
puffly with his
so
beak as he lowers them down.
That's more on the advanced end. The other videos are like 10 to 15 minutes. So
Welcome, Cosmic.
depends on what you want to do. When they're done with the video that they picked, they get to fill out an exit ticket. This is just a generic exit ticket, but every link is interactive. So if they click it, it goes to something. Every object has a purpose, and I would use that same object in each slide or Google Classroom to keep it kind of consistent. So they just go in and it's just like they know what's going on. And that's that. And just another example of using Pear Deck. This is kind of cheesy, but right now, if you want to, you can give a thank you to somebody. If you know anybody, it says there's no responses. I'll just give 30 seconds until we move on. Once again, when you have these responses, you can show responses. And once you lock screens, it sets those answers in. So then it'll record those answers at the end. So if you have a formative assessment, you can check on like what students know on the spot at the end of the day and figure out if they're actually learning as they're going through the presentation. So I'm going to close it in 10 seconds. Got 5 out of 19. We can do better. All right, I know that's Andrew. See, something easy. You can add this stuff, kind of interact with kids. Once you lock screens, it's done. Then you can move on to the next. Once again, here are the links. You should be able to interact with these links and find them. Hello, teacher lady. After browsing around on the internet, that was probably the most efficient and easiest explanation on how to do all of this. I'm going to break it down for you live and then answer questions as we go on. But if at any point in time I'm speaking above you, hello, teacher lady, this link, which I'm going to post in the chat box, is great. The Chrome extension. So for me, you have to manage your extensions, which should be this little puzzle piece. You want to make sure it's pinned. So if you see the little pin, that means it's there. If it's not, you got to manage your extensions. You got to go in here and you got to see which one's there. So right now I have these pinned. These are active. The Bitmoji icon, which is this little creepy green smiley face. I guess that's like a square. If you click it open, you'll see your Bitmojis, which those Bitmojis start with your phone. So you got to download the app. That app is through Google Play or Apple. You got to create an account. Some people are asking, should they use school email, personal email? I said, that's up to you. I personally use my own personal email, so it links throughout all the different platforms. It's just a Bitmoji. I don't think it connects to really much of anything, but if you're super worried about data being taken or anything, you could just have it related to your school account. The Google extension link's here. It's in your link presentation. You can click it. That can download. It'll come up here. The only way to get these to work is you have to download the app on your phone and then create your emoji. I'm not 100% sure if you can just go on a Chromebook and do it. I don't have a Chromebook, so I can't answer that question. All right, this is the part where I'm going to switch over to the Google slide. But quickly, the main things we're going to cover, we're going to pick a background. You're going to insert Bitmojis, insert clip art or pictures, and then how to add the interactive links. I'm going to show you how to do that all live in a second. So back to step one, which you're sharing is now the original Google slide. So if you need to like separate your tabs so that you see two different things, you can do that so you don't get lost. I got to catch up on here. All right. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. First things first. Background. You click background. You can do a couple things right off the bat. The really simple thing to do, if you just want to change the background color and you want to add other stuff, you can. So if I pick black, it changes. If I click reset, it disappears. So color, if you want to play with that, that's how you change the background color. If you click reset, sets it back. Choose image. I'm going to use Google search. I'm just going to type in Philadelphia Let's say I pick the field. It's like a good one. None of these are that great. Oh, maybe I just pick this. So it will actually fit to the Google slide, like the actual dimensions of that, make it work. So this one, it's here. So we have a background. I know it's the dreaded Washington Nationals. I'm sorry about that. I hate the Nationals as well. So hopefully we're on the same page there. The next part, after that, we want to insert a Bitmoji. So you're going to go up here, find your Bitmoji. So maybe add him in the background. The guy's yelling from the stands. There's tons of them. A good one is just type pose, and different kind of poses come up that are generic. You could type in stretching. They have different stretching ones. Could do baseball. Different baseball ones will catch up. So I want to add that. You could do like a Where's Waldo. And the next part would be inserting clip art or more pictures. So you want to click insert image, search the web. Might go transparent baseball. And then whichever baseball comes up here, you might have to take a couple chances at this. It just depends if the picture is actually transparent, but it should be. So basically all that means is the background is no longer there. You could have this. Another thing, how are kids actually going to know what they're going to do? You could have a whiteboard in the background. I like to use this one. We'll get my guy going there. And then if you want to add text, you look for the text box. It's the little T that has a box around it. You click it. You're going to click and drag where you want to type. That pops up. You can now type. You can type your what, why, how. If that's your format, you can change in the boxes. You can change the color. Do whatever you want. This baseball maybe is our representative of like whatever activity you're going to go to. Maybe we're talking about throwing for distance or throwing for accuracy, throwing for power, whatever concept you're actually covering. So for example, you're going to click this. This will turn it into a clickable link by going to insert link. And if we did like youtube.com/ you can apply. So obviously you would check the video that you're using. This is just me giving an example. So when you actually are done, there are a couple ways that you can turn this into something that works for you. One, you can click share. You want to make sure you adjust who has access to this and what they can do. So you want to make sure you click change. For this, you just want to keep viewer so that the person viewing it cannot change anything. If you give them editing access, they could delete everything, and that could be disastrous for you. So one more time, you click share, copy link, everybody can view. Make sure it says just view and not edit. You can post it. Bam. And then when they click that link, they can go in, they can click everything, but they can't change anything. Another way that you can do this, you can go to File and download it as a PDF. When you click it as a PDF, it will now be an interactive document. So it's no longer in the slideshow format. Now it will be just a PDF file that you can attach to Google Classroom. And whenever it's done, it'll pop up and give you an example. So now everything in here is clickable. Whatever I click that has a link attached, like, works. So it's basically like a web page at that point, and then you can just post it in Google Classroom. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions so far? This is the quietest group I've had. All right, this is just some more things that you can do when you're done. We already covered the PDF file. If you really want to get in depth, yes, this was a, oh, I just deleted it. That file that I opened up was a converted PDF file. That is correct, David. This one's actually pretty sweet. So this is a quick little YouTube video I recommend checking out. She covers different ways to turn it interactive. At one point, she has, I think it's at the end, she'll use Creator Studio to create GIFs. So if we know what GIFs are, they're like those quick little images that are like interactive. So you can create your own personal GIFs. She actually covers how to do that for your Google theme banner. So when you open a Google Classroom, that banner at the top, you can make your own. I think she has one where it's just like walking across the screen. So when the kids log into Google Classroom, they see your Bitmoji like character doing some action across the screen. Pretty dope.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri's yelling at me again. Siri, shush. A benefit to this is if you were to create a Google slide, in theory, you could have each slide be a lesson. So it makes everything documented in one place. That's once again reducing the amount of clicks. So the benefit to that, if a student isn't able to log in and have that live session, they can go back and see what you did that day and still do it. Obviously, if you have it linked to Google Classroom or things that they submit, you're going to be able to see a submission date anyway, so you can make adjustments if you need to penalize them for being late or kind of have a time frame of like when people are actually finishing their work.
I didn't get that.
Could
you try again?
Another idea I had, interactive school schedule. So if you have the younger kids, maybe you can create a schedule that links to each Google Classroom by just clicking the time or the class subject so that it just directly links them to it. Bitmoji Classroom is not the be all end all. I'm not telling you to go out and make a Bitmoji Classroom today.
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm just saying that it is another platform that you could use to reduce clicks and also increase interactivity. All right. So Sean asked, what does it look like in your classroom? Is it a link to the PDF or is the PDF right on there? I would put the PDF right in there. Like there's no need to put the link. You can embed that file directly into Google Classroom. And if we have time after, I can show you how to do that if you don't know. This is another example. We're back on the Pear Deck slides. This is another SEL oriented slide that you can use. Just checking in with students. That I highly recommend getting the add-on for Google Slides. Right now, it's a 90 or 91 day free trial. So you get to use the premium edition for free until, I don't know, when is that? Like December almost. So here we are. No responses yet. We're just going to skip that just to save time and energy. Once again, Glide app, if you want to use that, totally do it. Try it. You can even copy the app if you follow the link. Twitter. This is probably where I get a majority of my ideas. Twitter is incredible. This is where you can create your own personal learning community and professional learning community. I highly recommend it. Some major names to follow that are going to give you plenty of information are on this list. If they're on this list, I think that they are phenomenal at what they do or have something very unique that can help you out. Some really good go-tos. Phys Ed Depot. Mike Ginicola is a master. This guy is incredible. He has his own website. He focuses on gamification, clickers, plagnets. Highly recommend connecting with him. He's also a sweetheart. If you reach out and you have a question, he will help you. Mike is amazing. Mike Morris PE. You may have seen his name. This guy should be like awarded 2020 Teacher of the Year, hands down. This guy came up with so many unique ideas for PE at home and how to stay physically active. I absolutely love following this guy. Tons of different ideas. Mike Morris is a monster. Definitely follow that guy. He is ridiculously great. HPE podcast. If you're into learning about what's going on globally, even stateside, the HPE podcast is one of my favorite places to go. Risto, I went to grad school with him. He started this podcast a couple years ago. They focus on a lot more of what's going on at the college level, and they break it down to make it digestible. So we're talking about like the academic aspect. So they'll talk about social justice issues in PE. They'll talk about models, theory.
I'm on it.
Definitely recommend checking it out.
You don't have any podcasts matching that.
Miss Tucker Rocks PE. She's awesome. This is another great follow. She does a lot of advocacy work. She's there. She knows what she's doing. She's awesome. Where else was I? Mr. CPE Ross is the man. He has so much stuff on his page that you can use instantly. And I'm going to show those in a couple minutes. He has stuff like Mario Kart presentations where kids are playing Mario Kart, but with physical activity. He is a rock star. Definitely recommend checking out his stuff. Another favorite, Real Hip Hop Ed. Every Tuesday, they do a hip hop ed chat. Definitely check that out. Christopher Emden, probably one of my favorite books, and he does a lot of great work in New York City, where I did some teaching in the Bronx. Definitely recommend checking this out. It definitely can change your perspective on how education can be. Open Phys Ed's great. Who else on there? Missing one more. I think it's Phys Ed Apps. Yeah, Matthew Bassett does a great job. This is another guy to check out. He knows tons of stuff. He has lots of stuff that you can use as well. So Twitter, I'm telling you, get it. Learn how to use hashtags. You can find so much stuff that you can just put into your into your program immediately. And any one of those people, if you send them a message, I guarantee you they will respond to you and answer that question or help you out. Apps. There's other things like Voxer PE. If you have Voxer app on your phone, it's actual conversations. So you can ask physical educators in elementary, high school. There's different perspectives on it. They have conversations usually once every couple weeks. Great resource to check in, ask other people what they're doing. Bunsey, I've seen a lot of good reviews. I'm checking that one out if that's actually realistic for me. I don't think it is. Flipgrid, I highly recommend checking out. Seesaw, I recommend checking out. They're great ways to add interactivity as well as accountability for students in an easy and familiar way. Pear Deck's on there. Books. This is Christopher Emden's book. This book is great. He covers a lot about urban education and reality pedagogy. He is a master. Love Christopher Emdon's work. Totally recommend getting that if you haven't read it. Laura Azarito, social justice and globalized fitness and health. So a lot of that is talking about bodies out of sight. One of the common topics now is precarity. So they're talking about people that are usually ignored within phys ed. She does a lot of great work. Dyson and Casey, cooperative learning. They do a fantastic job within that book. One of the most important websites, Chromebooks and Health and PE. That website is amazing. I'll just show you briefly how to get through this website. It's a lot of information. It's very dense. Obviously up here, different topic areas. You see EDI, social justice, SEL, the whole way to back to school. So this back to school section was created for this coming school year. That was, I think, 100 plus health and physical educators all over the country came together to develop lessons, formats for you to use at free will. It will take time to go over. This was just kind of COVID information, lots of COVID information. And then when you get down to support learning, there are breakdowns on how to use Edpuzzle, how to use Flippity, Google tutorials. Definitely recommend checking these out. They have classroom expectations already set up for you that you can download and use. Different tools
I didn't get
for
that.
learning.
Could you try again?
The PE brain dump is great. Almost everything and anything you can think of is in here. Different resources. It goes on for a while. One of the most important sections, GIFs.
I didn't get that.
CPE
Could you try
has
again?
an entire library of GIFs. CBHPE has their own GIF library. Check those out. You can click it. You can even search. So you can do different activities. It makes it really easy to do. So it'll be like,
Just a sec.
if you click jumping,
I found this on the web.
you can hit file link and add stuff in. It is great. There's also links to Google Drives. I only added a few. They had Google Chrome extensions. So if you're interested in checking out a drive or how to work drives, give love. Games and activities. They already have games and activities broken down for social distancing and activities that you can pick from. Quite a few. Different models. So like how you can develop stuff within it. Totally recommend it. HPE at home. So once again, more activities. It's just thousands upon thousands of different things that you can find and use and implement in your class immediately. These Google Drives are great because once again, it's the same thing as cbhpe.org. It is already pre-made stuff that you can use, make a copy, and design it to fit your school. Interactive games via Zoom. So there are threads, once again, on Twitter. So if we were to log on Twitter, this is a thread example. So he started it in the phys ed thread, health ed thread. So creating interactive games.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
And it just goes on and on and on. So like different people posting stuff. Some of it's useful, some of it's not. You kind of have to make that choice on your own. But Justin is also a great guy to follow. He's from New Jersey. He's right across the river. He does some great work.
One moment. I'm not sure I understand.
When I was talking about Mario Kart themed adventures, this is what I'm talking about. So Ross created Mario Kart for a presentation for your Zoom or Google Hang. So for class, he has how to play. Before you begin, you get to choose your badges. So virtually they get to pick it. It's a lot. I know there's a lot that I'm throwing at you. Pokemon, there's Minecraft. They're for older kids, Heart Rate Lab. So this is already done. Becky Fulmer did this one. This is great. So you could have a heart rate lab where kids go through it on their own, where you could just be covering how to do your heart rate in person for the first 15 minutes of your synchronous part. And then the last like 45 or 30 minutes is asynchronous, where they go through this worksheet where you can be bouncing around and helping kids out. and then return at the end, and you could kind of review the material. But it's out there. This one's great. These also you can create that each student has their own so that you get to see, rate it, judge it, grade it. This is a great hybrid model
I'm on it.
teaching outline. I believe this was created by Derek Beal.
I didn't get that.
Yes.
Could you try again?
So this he made for like in person if it was like hybrid. So he came up with a whole bunch of different things. Totally recommend checking his stuff out too. He's a great follow. I have Google tutorials. I have tons of stuff in here, GIFs. There's definitely more information out there. This is just a good source for you to use to kind of let you choose what you want to do. Social justice and PE is a huge part. This A to Z is an article.
I'm not sure I
It was created
understand.
by another friend of mine, Dylan Landy, and some colleagues of his, where they cover like what social justice education is and what it can look like in phys ed. This is a free article. This normally stuff is blocked out. I have the access to it and gave it to you. So this article is available. I believe it's also on Shape's website. So definitely recommend checking it out. A lot of this stuff definitely applies to a large portion of our students in Philadelphia. And I think becoming more aware of these issues and how to teach to those issues and also kind of develop awareness and better curriculum is helpful. So yeah, I think that is it. So if you'd like to rate the presentation, I would like to give the last, we have like 10 minutes or 7 minutes. Any questions, anything you want me to go over? I know it's been a long day hearing people on here talk to you. So whatever you need, if you want to, you can unmute yourself.
Steven, I'm just going to drop the attendance sheet so everyone can fill a form out. And then there was a question in the group that asked if all featured apps or programs are approved by the district.
I think I've heard Pear Deck and Nearpod are approved. I know Flipgrid was used. That was used a lot in our school. And what was the other one? It was something like Flipgrid. I can't remember. There's a good chunk that are approved. I have a feeling that we should be asking overall, like, what are approved apps and can we use them? Because right now we need more apps and options. But for the most part, I think I'm going to be sticking with probably Flipgrid or the other one.
Steven, I got a quick question if it's okay.
Yeah, no, this is totally free, open floor.
So as you were talking, I was trying to get Pear Deck. Now I was able to get it, but I can't seem to find it where my extensions are. Is it a wait period to get it, or because it said it's fully downloaded, but it's not showing up?
All right. So if you go on the so you did add-ons, you clicked get add-ons, right? And you downloaded it, correct?
Yeah.
So does it show up right here? Because it should show up on your add-ons that you get to open.
Okay. Let me get. I'm flipping between two tabs. Sorry.
You're good.
And Steve,
Yes.
I'm very slow with all this stuff. You had posted your number and email earlier. Can you do that again in case I need some personal assistance?
I'm going to post that back up right now.
Perfect.
Also, link address. Before I do that, if you're interested in helping out, join in, or being informed by Philly Aford, there's a link. Sign up. Those are social medias. Once again, I posted a link in the chat. This is my information. If you have any questions, you can reach out. I will probably end up posting something, having just like another session for people to ask questions. We can just take like an hour, hour and a half, and I can just break down stuff when people come in. I have no problem doing that. I can find some time throughout the days. So if you're not tech savvy, that's okay. I have a lot of experience with tech because I took multiple years of business publishing in high school. So it's like cheating.
Steven, it's on there.
It's good? Awesome.
Yeah, thanks a bunch. That was awesome.
I have a question about the Bitmojis. You can drop them on any slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, those are my Twitter handles, phone number, and email. If you have any questions, you can reach out. I will try to post something and maybe reach out through Nancy, where I'll just take some time like each week to just answer questions through like a Zoom and show you how to do stuff.
I have a question about Pear Deck.
Yes.
So when we went through this slide, we had the Google Classroom